It's officially Switch Week, and Nintendo has presented us with a Nindies showcase highlighting their upcoming indie game lineup. What's up, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. I've got Gabe here with me, and we're going to run you through the list of games that were announced and updated today. Some of them are timed exclusives, some of them are full exclusives, and some of them are just there to be a part of the fun. Gabe, where should we start?
I believe we are going to start with Enter the Gungeon, a game we both like quite a bit.
Yes.
Coming to Switch.
And this was actually not even part of the presentation.
Yeah,
just
so we're
tweeted like
cheating
moments
here.
after. But hey, the newest news from Dodge Roll Games is that Enter the Gungeon is coming to Switch, and they have an incredibly amazing Switch GIF. If you go to their Twitter at Dodge Roll Games, it's freaking incredible. This was an 18-minute presentation, and it was a pretty like one after the other. They really rolled through a lot of indie games. A couple of them had specific dates. Most were summer 2017, seemed to be where the glob of them were. But let's just start from the top. Runner 3 from Choice Provisions.
Okay. Do you have any interest in this? I remember the series used to be like popular, like back on the PlayStation 3, Bit Trip Runner and things like that. I don't even remember the rest. I'm assuming Runner 2 is what came after. I'm not super into this one. It looks cool. I've never played it, so I might give it a chance now that it's on Switch. But it's not necessarily for me, I think.
Yeah, the Bit Trip series was a really popular series. Like Bit Trip Beat, they were like WiiWare games and stuff. I played those. I played almost all of them, so I'm excited for Runner 3. I like Runners. That this is a new one, and it looks really good. Like some of the graphical upgrades that have been made. Also, I just want more of these style games on the Switch, little bite-sized things that can be used on the go that won't eat into the battery like Zelda. I just flew on a plane and watched that thing get chowed down by Link and friends. So it'll be cool to have some games that are a little less demanding to really extend the battery life. And I've always liked Runners, and I specifically have liked the Bit Trip series. So
well, this is
I'm a thumbs up for this.
This is an exclusive to Switch, which is also cool.
Yes, and it comes out this fall. Next up on the list is my favorite of the list, SteamWorld Dig 2 from Image and Forms Games. They do great stuff. SteamWorld Dig, fantastic. SteamWorld Heist, one of my favorite games. I played it on 3DS. I played it on Vita. I played it on PS4. Love that game a lot. So they're making a direct sequel to their original SteamWorld Dig, and it's coming out this summer. Not an exclusive or anything, but it's good that it's hitting the Switch.
Yeah, and this is what the presentation actually started off with. And I knew that you were like super into one of the SteamWorld games. I didn't know it was Dig or Heist, so I thought it was this. So I figured you were going crazy, but it wasn't this. It was actually Heist.
I'm super excited that there is a new SteamWorld game. That alone is super cool news. I am more of a Heist fan than a Dig fan, but I like the look of this. They made some notable changes and upgrades, and it's graphically definitely a step up. Like they've merged more like 3D-ish elements, so I think it looks really good. I wish it was coming this March, not this summer. Ukulele from Team 17 and Playtonic Games is up next. We've seen a lot of Ukulele lately. Previews hit for other platforms. Obviously, the Switch version is coming after the initial release, but I think this is the sort of a very Nintendo-feeling game that's not made by Nintendo. So I think it's going to be really cool. Plus, it has multiplayer functionality, which is great for the Switch. A lot of these highlighted that local multiplayer action with multiple Joy-Con, and I think that's a real cool element, especially for some of the more like the more online or multiplayer-focused indies. Like, again, it's not on this list, but something like a Towerfall would thrive on Switch with that local split-screen play, being able to clash it out with multiple friends on the same little tablet.
The only problem I would see with Towerfall is that the screen's too small, but that's neither here nor there. Ukulele is one that like a lot of people are super excited about. I wish it was coming day and date with the other platforms. All we got was a hey, it's coming soon. So
right. Yeah, it may be that they don't have an exact date yet. One that does have an exact date, though, is Blaster Master Zero from Inti Creates.
This is the one that I thought looked super cool. This one kind of stood out to me a little bit.
Yeah, it's coming March 9th. Interestingly, for both Switch and 3DS. So it's a Nintendo exclusive, a Nintendo family exclusive, not a Switch exclusive. But it is coming out a week after launch, which is great. And it's a callback to the original Blaster Master, which I never played. But yeah, this one looks really good with the vehicle combat, and then sort of the top-down shooter adventurer combat.
Yeah, I love the trailer. I'll have the trailers up on the screen for all of these games. Blaster Master Zero looks like really, really interesting.
Plus a two-player mode.
Excuse me?
Plus a two-player mode.
Didn't know that. There you go. Fantastic. You can play with your brother or sister or friend or whatever.
Or very intelligent primate. Pocket Rumble from Chucklefish Games and Cardboard Robot Games is a 2D fighter that uses two buttons. It kind of reminded me of Dive Kick.
I remember Dive Kick.
Like a pixelated Dive Kick. And they made sure to mention that a lot of these games, Pocket Rumble included, utilize HD Rumble on those Joy-Cons. So this one comes out in March, and you will be playing... you can play with two Joy-Con, which, you know, they didn't show hardly any of this stuff in like a dock TV mode. It was all on the tablet mode and all in handheld, which I thought was really interesting. But that's kind of like the ideal way to play indies. There's a reason why the Vita was sort of eventually regarded as the go-to indie machine, and I think Switch may be able to supplant that because of its inclusion of local multiplayer.
Yeah, I hope so.
So this one looked interesting. Not sure, you know, how it plays or anything, but they did say that it feels very different when you get hit with a strong attack versus a weak attack. So I'm curious to know how that rumble will rumble when Pocket Rumble comes out. Flipping Death from Zoink Games. This is one that both of us were like, hold up, let's pause and watch this again. Basically, you are a girl turned Grim Reaper who can flip the world back from like the dead zone to the alive zone, and it has like it's from the people who did oh gosh, what's that game called? The game that Zoink Games did, and it is a adventure game, and I'm going to look it up right now, but it does have a very like Psychonauts-ish kind of vibe, but the game is called Stick It to the Man, that I'm thinking of, and it has an art style very reminiscent of that.
Okay, sorry to leave you hanging there. I had no idea that they did Stick It to the Man. They mentioned it in the presentation, but they went so quickly on all of these. It was very hard to like take notes or like remember. But this has the exact same premise to a TV show that I've mentioned to you before called Dead Like Me, from like the early 2000s on Showtime. Yeah, it's this girl that becomes a Grim Reaper, and it really reminded me of that. But the art style on this is like really, really charming, and the whole like flipping to the alive world and controlling humans aspect is pretty cool. I'm wondering, like, I'm assuming you control them to like kill them so that they can also be dead because you're the Grim Reaper.
I'm not sure. It looked very cool, and it just had a good, unique charm. And it's nice to see a wide variety of games. You know, everything from Runner 3 and Enter the Gungeon, which are very tried and true genres, and then things like Flipping Death that are a little more open and a little more, you know, their own thing. Mr. Shifty from Tiny Build and Team Shifty is a game about a stealthy man who is killing a lot of dudes.
A lot of killing.
One-shot kills as he looks to sneak his way through a whole lot of environments, and has HD Rumble for players to feel every punch and shot. Which sounds like, I don't know, my hands are going to be like a real oogly googly after playing a lot of HD Rumble games, I feel like.
Yeah, and Mr. Shifty's supposed to come out in April, so, you know, the next month after Switch comes out. I like this. I like that they're, even though that these are smaller downloadable games, this is exactly what I said I wanted, you know, months ago. That the Switch needed like more indies. They needed smaller games that can tide us over when there isn't a major Nintendo release happening. So I'm super excited about a lot of these actually, including Mr. Shifty. It looks great.
Yeah, and the great news is it's launching first on Switch, and we've mentioned some that are exclusive to Switch, and there's more time exclusives to come, and so that shows a confidence and also a level of support that Nintendo is providing, and a push that Nintendo is providing to really highlight, you know, hey, we want Switch to be a great platform for indies, and you're absolutely right. Like, having these in between and new releases, he said at the end of the presentation, new releases every week, that sounds pretty good to me. And Wargroove from Chucklefish Games was probably my second favorite after SteamWorld Dig 2.
It's a turn-based strategy game.
Yeah, that basically looks like Advance Wars, but it has local and online 1-to-4 player, which looked incredibly cool and such an Advance Wars vibe. Like, if Nintendo is not going to do Advance Wars, then thank you, Chucklefish, for filling the gap, because Wargroove is something I'm super pumped for. It's coming out later this year, and like, that's a day one game for me.
Stardew Valley, a day one game for you, because Chucklefish and Concerned Ape are bringing Stardew Valley over here. That was a huge hit when it first came out on PC. A lot of people were streaming it on Twitch. People were absolutely in love with it. Now it's coming to Switch, and it'll be the first console to support the new multiplayer feature. So,
yeah, and again, it's something that people have dipped hundreds of hours into. I have never played it. I'm not much one for the Harvest Moon style RPG, but I may give it a chance. Again, being able to take it with me versus like on PC or whatnot is a huge difference. And I know you can take your Vita with me with you or whatever, but like the Switch is going to be with me everywhere because I can play Zelda and then I can play Stardew and then I can play Mr. Shifty and then I can play Mario Kart 8. So the fact that it can live this double life as my AAA and my indie box, I freaking love that. So yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. I also like how Chucklefish, Concerned Ape, like they need a like sleepy zebra and a joyous giraffe. I like this whole like adjective and animal thing.
Yeah, fat.
Shakedown Hawaii from V-Blank is the spiritual successor to Retro City Rampage, and they're aiming for it to be twice as good. It launches first on Switch in April, and it looks very much like a Retro City Rampage type game. They say build your empire, monopolize the markets, and collaterally rezone the island's destructible sandbox. A lot of crime going on, a lot of killing going on, and it looked and performed well. I don't know if it's the kind of game I want to play, but it's good that it's coming out in April. Again, a number of these, coming in March, number coming in April, summer. So this is all like pre-E3 stuff, and here it is, before we even get to sort of the big show and the big reveals.
Yeah, and people like really, really love Retro City Rampage. I don't have that like fondness for it because I didn't play it when I was like growing up. But
right.
This being the spiritual successor, it does have like an extra amount of oomph behind it. People like really were digging the trailer on Twitter, and I'm happy that it's coming in April, and it's launching first on Switch, which is fantastic.
The next three are all really, really cool looking. Graceful Explosion Machine from Vertex Pop. It launches first on Switch in April. It's a side-scrolling arcade shooter with HD rumble, but it has all sorts of cool colors. It almost reminded me of like if someone from a different dimension made Geometry Wars, and this was like their take on it. Right, like it has like the colors and sort of the crystal-looking enemies and the geometry, but you're moving through environments rather than just a plain old grid. And I thought it looked like definitely a fun time and one that I'll be picking up.
Yeah, I wasn't super too colorful. Too colorful. Yeah.
Well, then you better not play Tumbleseed from AEIO Woo, because that game also had a whole lot of color and cuteness and charm. This is a roguelike where you are a seed rolling up and down environments and utilizing powers. Trees, yeah. And avoiding holes, using powers, and trying to get as far as you possibly can. It's coming to Switch in the spring, not an exclusive or anything, but it does have that HD rumble, so you can feel seeds travel through your controllers.
Yeah, and since you mentioned Vita, we can get into the next one here. Overcooked Special Edition from Team 17 and Ghost Town Games. Everybody loves Overcooked, and now it's coming to Switch.
Overcooked.
It's coming to Switch.
Super pumped for this. It is the ideal. People were talking about this on NeoGAF last night. The ideal game for like double Joy-Con play. You can both be there cooking up sandwiches and soups and meals and messing up and hopefully not hitting each other, but at least yelling at each other and having a great time. And the special edition comes with more stuff. There's co-op, there's competitive, there's solo, and it's got all the DLC in there, plus HD rumble, so you can feel every chop through a tomato. Coming later this year.
Yep.
Wish we had a date for that one, but alas. Instead, we'll move to Escapist 2 from Team 17 and Moldy Tooth, the sequel to the Escapists, the prison escape game, and that one is coming later this year. I've never played any of those. Again, just not something for me, but good on them for having another style of indie appear on Switch in the first year.
Yeah, like you, I've never played them, but I know a lot of people really, really like them. So the fact that it's coming to Switch, the Escapist 2, it's a good thing.
Yes. Goner now.
This
from
looks
Raw Fury
amazing.
and Art and Heart looks really cool. It is a procedurally generated platformer with rogue-like elements, and it is very tough and score-based, and it is a story about a friendship between Ick, Death, and a space whale named Sally. You will die a lot, it says. The console version launches first on Switch. Obviously, there's a PC version, but they are making tailor-made additional content just for Switch later this year, which is cool. But yeah, it has a really unique style, and it kind of reminded me of like psychedelic Super Meat Boy, but with more like killing and action.
More death than Super Meat Boy?
Well, more death of other things, not
okay.
you necessarily.
All right, okay.
So that one looks really cool and has a unique feel. Kingdom 2 Crowns from Raw Fury and Noyo is a game about building kingdoms, and there is co-op, and it was first revealed in this presentation that there is a 2-player mode. It is launching later this year, and the first game, Kingdom, looks really cool. Never played it, but this is one that I definitely want to try out.
I don't know that much about it. What was the original Kingdom on?
PC.
Okay. Maybe I could go back, check that out, get ready for this one. This is coming later in the year. I wish we had a more specific date, but hey, co-op riding horses, it gets a thumbs up for me.
Exactly. Dandara is the final game of their list from Raw Fury and Long Hat House. It is launching on Switch this summer with exclusive features, including HD Rumble support. Basically, you are a very badass woman tearing up a world with no real regard to gravity.
Also, you have an afro.
Yes.
Game of the year.
And it looked really cool. Again, a lot of these looked really cool, but Gabe, I'm now going to make you pick your favorite.
I think, especially because it's the one coming out the soonest, I think, hold on, give me a second to think here. Because right now, I'm in between two. I am in between Blaster Master Zero, and I am in between Goner. Those are the two that really caught my eye. Probably Blaster Master, just because it's sooner.
Super soon.
Yeah, March 9th, so we get to play it the week after the Switch comes out.
There's actually, like, this is a very cool list, because I looked down, I'm like, okay, Runner 3, interested in SteamWorld Dig 2, Ukulele, Blaster Master, Flipping Death, Wargroove.
Flipping Death is another one, man. Can I have a three-way tie?
I'm going to give mine to SteamWorld Dig 2 just because I love Image and Form, and anything they do, like, I want to see through the end as fast as possible, so I'm going to give it to that. But again, like, Ukulele close behind, and I really think that the Wargroove game could be something super cool and kind of like an under-the-radar indie darling later this year. I wish it was Switch exclusive, just for the Advance Wars nostalgia. But hey, they're getting it, that's good. A couple interesting things about this presentation. One, no mention of snipper clips, which I thought was weird, given that that's coming out March 3rd. I mean, I know they made a press release last week, but you would have thought they would have had a little bit of a ta-da, snipper clips with all the new modes, but I guess they feel like they've already covered that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is most of these games had sort of an old school art style to them. I'm looking at the list right now. They came out with a new graphic. Snake Pass is, a very graphically pretty game. And sure, some of these look really good. It's not about pretty, I guess. Runner 3 also had more of a new style.
Plus Yuka.
Yeah, Ukulele. Okay, so there is a good mix. At first I was going to say they're not really doing much with sort of the modern-looking indie, but they've got quite a bit with Rhyme, Snake Pass, Fast Remix, Ukulele. So they have a nice mix, and I think if you look at this initial lineup, sure that more will be announced. Things that they didn't mention, Day 1 Snipper Clips, Jackbox Party Pack, Binding of Isaac, Shovel Knight. Very, very cool that they do have a healthy lineup and a healthy sense of like, hey, this is a great place to go because we've got it first, or we've got it exclusively, or we've got unique content. And I hope they're able to carry over this kind of support and this kind of effort to their third-party cartridge game, that side of things.
Yeah. I'm all for it. I think that since these are indies and, independent developers usually do these types of art styles, probably because it's easier than doing like the grand, like graphically impressive type game, that I get it. It all kind of looks 16-bit, and that's not as exciting, but just gameplay-wise, a lot of these look really, really cool. So.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some good ones, and if you look at this graphic closely, like Hollow Knight is there, which has been getting rave reviews on Steam this past week. I'm waiting for the Switch port because I can't wait to take that with me. Already mentioned Jackbox Party Pack. You've got the World of Goo and those games, which have not been fully confirmed for launch. They're acting like they are coming at launch, but they're hopeful. But I've heard some things that maybe they don't make launch. Either way, like I feel very good about this.
Same
I feel
here.
very good for Switch, and I feel very good for their indie output. Let us know what you think about today's presentation and the indie lineup, the Nindy lineup, rather, for Nintendo Switch. Which game you are most pumped for out of this list, out of this graphic, and we will be reading through and seeing what you guys are thinking. Thanks, as always, for your support. We super appreciate it. Been blown away lately by the love here on Switch Force, and we are determined to keep you guys happy with all sorts of awesome content. We're just a couple days away from Switch launch, and we've got a whole lot planned, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can hear it and see it and watch it as soon as it is released. Until that time, though, for myself and Gabe, Switch Force out.